Good evening, you're watching No Spin. I'm Nidhi Razdan. The shocking negligence which led to the deaths of 134 people in Morbi in Gujarat when a bridge collapsed last night is our big focus. There are more than 50 children among those killed. It turns out that the contract to renovate the bridge was given by the Morbi municipal body to a company called Oreva. Oreva is known for making clocks, watches, LED lights and other similar electronics. They have no experience of working on infrastructure projects as per their own website. Even more shockingly, it has emerged that Oreva was given this contract without any tender. So it was simply given to them on a platter. According to the contract, which NDTV has accessed, the bridge had to be closed for 8 to 12 months for maintenance and repairs. But it was thrown open to the public within 7 months on the 26th of October this year when the Gujarati New Year is celebrated. Every safety rule was broken. The bridge was allowed to operate without a fitness certificate from civic authorities. While mid-level Oreva employees have been arrested today, those who actually run the company and own it have not. They haven't even been named in the FIR. There were close to 500 people on this bridge when the cable snapped on Sunday evening, sending hundreds of people tumbling into the river. So we have a lot of questions to ask tonight. Very simply, why was no fitness certificate given? How was the bridge allowed to open without a fitness certificate? Who was responsible for that? The municipal authorities, the local government, they can't pass the buck on to somebody else. They should have ensured that the bridge was only open when it was certified to be safe. Why was the repair contract given to a watchmaker, a company called Oreva, with no experience in infrastructure? Why were more than 500 people allowed onto the bridge when its capacity is only 150? Who was responsible for crowd control at the bridge? And will heads actually roll in the civic body, in the administration, as well as in the Gujarat government? Those are some of the questions we'll be looking at in the course of this program tonight. But first, my colleague Tanushree Pandey, who's been covering this story for nearly 24 hours now continuously, she sent us this report from a local hospital in Morbi.
The fact that out of 141 people, most of the people who are dead were small children and women. This makes the entire tragedy even more tragic and horrific, Nidhi. We know as a matter of fact that about nearly 40 children have been dead, and the youngest, as you rightly mentioned, was just 2 years old, who was there with his parents, in fact, to perform some kind of a Chhat ritual puja. And, his parents could have never imagined, Nidhi, that, something which is treated as a tourist destination, a bridge which has been, taken as a tourist destination of this district Morbi in Gujarat, will collapse out of nowhere and so many people will lose their life. It is definitely extremely horrific and tragic and unfortunate. But the question it raises, Nidhi, is that, and we are continuing to ask this question to the authority, that why was the bridge permitted and allowed to be open for public without an NOC, without a fitness certificate being procured by, by the private company Oreva Group from the government officials and the municipal corporation. The second big question is, the bridge only had a capacity to take up to 100 to 150 people. But right now, in fact, the survivors in the hospital have also told me that the Oreva Group distributed and sold the tickets worth rupees 17 to about 500 people, and that is when the bridge collapsed, and there were about 400 to 500 people on the bridge. Most of them were women and children. So there is a massive criminal negligence which is now coming to light on the part of the government and the authorities.
That was Tanushree Pandey, who was speaking to me just a little while earlier this evening. But let me go straight across to our panelists tonight, and I'll go first to Dushyant Dave, Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court, who's joining us. Dushyant Dave, we've just read out a list of questions that we have for the Gujarat government. It's actually a shocking case of negligence, apathy, and it appears to be perhaps a case of corruption as well. How is a company that makes watches and clocks awarded a contract for an infrastructure project like this, and that too without a tender?
There are far too many serious questions besides what you have rightly pointed out. But let me begin by telling the nation something more serious. The apathy has continued 24 hours after the tragedy, in which, as your reporter said, more than 40 children have died. South Korea had a tragedy 3 days ago, and the whole nation is in mourning. In this country, nobody cares. the Prime Minister is going about as if nothing has happened, addressing meeting after meeting. There is no national mourning declared in this country, which really is absolutely pathetic. I mean, you cannot have this kind of a situation. Just because we are 130 crore people doesn't mean that 141 lives don't matter. I mean, we have become so, insensitive to the problems of the citizens, to their miseries, that those in power don't care a damn about what happens to them. They continue to do what exactly they want to do, smile on the cameras, they do perform their usual work and say, oh, we have great sympathy for those who have died and those who are injured. I mean, this is really unacceptable conduct on the part of, the people's country's top leaders. Having said that, let me tell you one thing. I think the whole approach today to put the focus on the company is lopsided. Company Oreva is certainly responsible. Its top management and officials must be proceeded with. But there is a far more serious issue here. Morbi as a district was declared as a district by Narendra Modi in 2013, perhaps to bring better administrative, efficiency. And Morbi is the district headquarters. There is a district magistrate. And as you know, in every district magistrate is virtually a king. Without his permission, without his supervision, without his control, nothing can move. That's how the structure is made. And I have known this structure for a long time, since my father was a district and sessions judge since the 60s. Then there is a superintendent of police. Now, and there is, of course, the DGO and many other officials. Every one of these officials is criminally negligent in not having taken due care. Had they taken even slight bit of care for the people, this tragedy could have been avoided. The collector could have asked the corporation that why have you permitted without any, clearance.
Absolutely.
Police could have said, just a second.
And Dushyant Dave, there has to be political accountability as well. It doesn't stop with the company. It doesn't stop. Yeah. I just want to get first reactions in, from Pramila Nisargi. She's a leader of the BJP. Pramila ji, does the buck not stop with the political leadership? I don't think she's here yet. Do we have Geeta Bhatt here? Geeta Bhatt, does the political leadership not have to bear responsibility for this?
Well, Nidhi ji, definitely a very unfortunate incident, and may God give strength to the families who have to bear the loss of their near and dear ones. You see, with such a tragedy happening and the questions which are being raised, it is very important that what is the first contingency measure that needs to be taken, in such such situations which are nothing short of an emergency. And therefore, it is important to see that what are the actions which have been taken by the government of the day. We can see that they already have constituted a 5-member committee to investigate into it, and whosoever is responsible in the process, right from those who were at the ticketing counter for allowing more than 400 people to get into a bridge which had a capacity of 100 odd, to those who actually gave permission or a contract to this particular company, which it seems does not have any background in terms of infrastructure projects. Definitely it needs to be looked into. But as for now, if you see, whatever are the decisions that need to be taken when such a situation happens is something which the government of day has taken. In terms of
that's not a big deal. Whatever the government is doing post the incident is what any government would do, which is you have rescue and relief work that is underway. You constitute some kind of a committee that will probe this, etc., etc. This should not have happened in the first place. We have Pramila Nisargi of the BJP joining us as well. Pramila Nisargi, why shouldn't the Chief Minister of Gujarat be held responsible for this? Why shouldn't the BJP government of Gujarat be held directly responsible for this?
Mr. Dushyant spoke. He was thinking that for everything whatever happening in India, Modi is responsible. I do not know, 1984, the Constitution Amendment took place. And the municipalities and all of those people, decentralization and powers have been given. Otherwise, there is nothing like that. But who must be held responsible? Whether the government or the municipality is the question before us now. In view of the fact that the properties are held by, all the properties are held by the local municipality in law. So far as India is concerned, it is not that the chief minister holds the property or he owns the property. In view of
Madam,
the decentralization and
134
power being
people are
conferred
dead.
on the local bodies,
134 people are dead. Are you saying there is no responsibility of the elected government in Gujarat?
Which is responsible.
Is there no responsibility of the elected government?
Government of Gujarat.
134 people are dead. More than 50 children.
India, powers have been distributed. The property is held in trust by the government. For any property which is held by the government, they are holding the property as a trust on behalf of the public. They are in any way responsible. I don't say they can share. But primarily, the municipality which is there is primarily responsible. Whether in the normal course, it is not a normal property which is within the municipality. It is a river and a bridge. In view of this, it is the government which must be held responsible. Throughout the country, the bridges must be taken responsibility by the government. In view of that, the government of India or it may be the government of Gujarat which must be held responsible, and they are holding the they can't take the people ransack. That is why I am telling you.
Who has been held responsible? Can you name one person who has been?
Local body is responsible.
Madam, can you name one person who has resigned over this? Can you name one person who's been sacked over this? You are saying it's not the government. Okay, fine. You're saying it's municipal authorities only. Name me one person from the municipal body who's been sacked for this or who has stepped down today. Not one person.
Madam, if they have not resigned, government is not helpless. The entire municipality must be taken over, and each member of the municipality
but the government
and
should bear no
officer of the municipality must be collectively held responsible for the incident, and the money must be collected from them. The damages must be collected from them. They can't brush away and then go away. It is not the contractor. They have neglected in handing over a contract like this. It to a ordinary company
is the fault of
which
the
has no
municipal
experience
authorities.
at all.
The
Due
buck doesn't
diligence
stop
is not
politically
made.
with anyone.
They were not experts
I have senior journalist Deepal
infrastructure.
Trivedi joining us as well. Deepal Trivedi, what these serious questions that are being raised about how this company was awarded the contract. The fact that a tender also wasn't even floated and it was just given this contract. What are you hearing on the ground about, the nexus here, possibly between the government and this company?
First of all, Oreva company who was awarded this contract has had no prior experience in infrastructure or construction. So primarily, it was wrong to award the contract for renovation of this bridge and its functional operations to this company. Okay, so that was the first mistake, and we do not know on what parameters this company was awarded the contract. But if we consider this Morbi bridge collapse, Oreva company is not singularly responsible because number one, what were the parameters? Who set the parameters? Who recommended this company? And secondly, if Oreva company did not obtain a fitness certificate, the bridge was left open for the public on October 26th. Why was no complaint registered against the company for not obtaining the fitness certificate? Why is it now that we are hearing that the company flawed, the company made this mistake? And thirdly, and very important, who is authorized to decide the capacity of this bridge? We hear that 550 people were present on this bridge when on a daily basis, if we look at records, the entire day there were not more than 200 people.
If you look at the people who have been arrested,
but no action for 5 days were initiated.
The ticket clerks, a couple of security guards, who've been arrested. I mean, these are, you're just throwing the small fish under the bus, right? There's no accountability at the top. Forget the company. I mean, neither the municipal body nor the politicians, nobody.
Exactly. Just last night itself, the municipality chief Sandeep Sijala went on record blaming the Oreva company, trying to shift the blame. Like the whole day we have been hearing of what swift response the Gujarat government has been, indulging in, but that is the responsibility. The government has not initiated any action. There is absolute blame shifting that is taking place, and lower level people. If the government is serious, the head of Oreva company should have been arrested last night itself. In the FIR that was registered this morning, the company was not even named. It was only after the gravity of the situation started intensify that Oreva was named. And till the moment, not a single municipality official, not a single bureaucrat, not a single government authority, not a single policeman or woman who could have been involved in the entire process of initiating action for against Oreva, for which flouted rules, if we are to believe it.
By the way,
no action has been taken, and smaller level people are being moved.
I just want to get Mr. Shantilal Jain, who is a practicing civil structural engineer. He has more than 40 years of experience in this area. And Mr. Jain, what is the normal process? If you could explain to us very briefly, would you say that every rule and safety norm was violated in the case of this bridge, in the way the renovation was carried out and everything else?
See, this is a old bridge which was renovated, and I have never visited that site. But there are many, this type of bridges are existing in India and all over world also, which are normally used for pedestrian and light, not for vehicle work. So when bridge became old, and their consultants or government officers or engineers, when they felt that this bridge is not fit and it needs strengthening or renovation, so the whoever are administration there might have invited tender or not, but technically this bridge was to be renovated, and they have given some contract or whatever way. Then bridge is to be analyzed, designed, and then by designing and checking, if it is old, checking design of existing, and wherever deficiencies are there or deterioration has happened throughout its life, it to be overcome by putting replacing material or strengthening them. So, and this type of works are normally executed under supervision of a very well qualified engineers, maybe government or maybe private agency or maybe private consultant.
But are you worried, Mr. Jain, that we would be having many such bridges across this country, which are in a way like ticking time bombs?
Actually, there are process of regular maintenance and attending them. In railways, they are very strict, and we railways follow the best things. In railways, continuously, every periodical, they have to inspect and certify. Otherwise, they will stop the bridge.
So you're saying that that's the model that should be followed. But I want to come back to Dushyant Dave's point. The bigger point here about perhaps our moral compass and what has happened to us, where you have so many people who have died and it doesn't seem to move us. We have Priyanka Kakkar of the AAP also joining us. By the way, Mr. Dave, the Chief Minister of Gujarat has just announced a statewide mourning on the 2nd of November. I guess because that's the Prime Minister has programs tomorrow in Gujarat as well, including going to Morbi. Priyanka Kakkar, I'll take a comment from you first before I take that back to Mr. Dave.
Good evening, Nidhi. Nidhi, every time I think BJP cannot stoop any lower, I'm in for a shock. Now, like our learned senior counsel here, Dushyant Daveji said, the contract was given without a tender, and the first party, which is the municipal council of municipal corporation of Morbi, and the second party, which is the Ajanta Manufacturing Private Limited, both have not been named in the FIR. That is one thing. Then again, they have constituted an SIT. The SIT comprises of who? The DMs and the SDMs of Morbi, who should be actually in the FIR. They will be constituting an SIT. If they really want an independent investigation, it should be at least under a sitting judge of the High Court. Then we can consider that this is an independent investigation. Thirdly, even yesterday, Nidhi, it appalls me that there was a rally ongoing of the BJP at that very time when this murder happened, when this orchestrated murder happened. The BJP continued to hold this rally for 30 minutes. It had a huge police bandobast. If they had sent that police on the spot without continuing the rally, perhaps some lives could be saved. The Health and Family Welfare Minister, you're talking about empathy from this party. The Health and Family Minister was celebrating his birthday with all the fireworks and posted it on social media. They are such an arrogant party right now, and human lives have no value to them. Even, and I'm at a loss of words today that when I hear BJP's defense and how are they even in this position to defend it, they should at least let a fair investigation happen. Let the real culprits be named in the FIR. Let the SIT investigation be independent, and then perhaps some justice can prevail, because 26 of their public works in the past 1 year, Nidhi, we've seen defects in them. And
okay, I just want to just play out pictures. The Prime Minister chaired a meeting, by the way, because he went ahead with his planned programs today, except a roadshow in Ahmedabad that was cancelled. And he made speeches on Sardar Patel. He attacked the Congress for not putting out advertisements on Sardar Patel. So it was in a way business as usual. But he also chaired a meeting on Morbi with the Chief Minister and other senior officials. And he has programs tomorrow as well. Dushyant Dave, just to bring you in on this particular point, that beyond a point, it doesn't seem to move us that 100+ people are dead in this country.
It has not moved us for last 75 years, and it's not going to move us for next 75 years, because there is abject absence of accountability in this country. Nobody from the political class, nobody from the bureaucratic class is ever held responsible. If such an incident were to take place in a private company where a boiler bursts and workers die, the chairman, managing director, CEO, and everybody else would be arrested within hours. So why is it that, as it's really naive for us to think that, this Oreva is responsible. What about the superintendent of police and IG of police who did not provide any police bandobast here to stop people going on to the, bridge beyond a certain capacity? Why were they so, casual about it, so negligent about it? So I personally feel, Mr. Modi, when this West Bengal incident took place long back, when 21 people died, that bridge collapsed, he said this is not an act of God, this is an act of fraud, and asked that people that should change the government of the state. Today I'm asking a question: should the elections are around the corner, what should people of Gujarat be doing? Shastriji resigned when train accident took place. Madhavrao Singh resigned when air crash took place. Why doesn't the Chief Minister and the Home Minister take responsibility in Gujarat and resign to tell people that we genuinely care
very
for
quickly. Shouldn't they take moral responsibility and resign?
Well, Mr. Dave is very quick to point fingers at the Prime Minister. But I remember that I wonder whether when the Calcutta mishap of the flyover collapse took place, whether any such questions were raised about the Chief Minister of West Bengal, that her resignation should be rendered, considering that the company which was given the contract was IVRCL, which was already a blacklisted company whose contract was renewed by the Mamata Banerjee government when it came in 2011. So if one starts raising questions, there could be many such questions which can be raised. But the point here is that Mr. Dave, just to inform him that the Rajkot Member of Parliament of BJP, Kalyanji's family members, 12 members of his family, they have, unfortunately, they also, lost their lives in this unfortunate incident. So it is not something that any life which is lost in such an incident, which is really very, very, very sad. And what is important here is that, yes, definitely an investigation into who is responsible for giving a contract to such a company.
You will only do investigations. You will never reach conclusions, madam. You will not reach conclusions.
You need to let the investigation happen.
People of Gujarat want it. They are entitled to it.
It's like considering as if it's a fast city life. You want that there should be investigation is going to take time.
Madam,
you need to look into the documents. You at least, such a
I have to wrap it up, but all I can say is there was a time in this country too when a train accident happened, the railway minister would resign. There was a time, I don't know how many of you remember this, but it used to happen. A train accident would lead to the railway minister's resignation. Today, nobody has batted an eyelid after the deaths of 134 people. Like I said, forget political accountability. Even the municipal authorities, nobody's been sacked. Nobody's resigned. Nobody feels the need to take moral responsibility, because I guess we're living in different times. This is a story we will stay with tomorrow night as well. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you.